Okay, Sagittarius, I'm sorry. I was mid-reading. Not really. I was at the very beginning of the reading, hence why I'm holding these cards that were right here. And I had to change the lighting. And I was like, I'm just going to scrap this because I still have the cards on the table. Not really sure why that was my decision, but that was my decision. Anyway, there was something about Scorpios and rising signs, all right? So, Halloween Oracle, go check out the Scorpio Halloween Oracle, especially if you're got Scorpio in your chart or if you're dealing with a Scorpio or something. There's some kind of connection going on there. And I was saying that it might be just the common month of November. Even, oh my god, it's 12/12. So this is a better way to start. All right. Quick announcement, since the other one is cut off, I am running a contest. It was supposed to end a couple days ago, but of course nobody's won yet. So go check out the Synchronicity surprise video. You can enter the contest. No information required. Super easy to play along, and little bonus surprise for participating, basically. All right, so go check that out. Anyways, what we have up top is the Six of Cups, pleasure, and the Eight of Discs, prudence. Okay, sorry. See, this is why I had to change the light, because it's, even when it's harder to see, it's better to see. Anyways, I have a feeling you might be dealing with a feminine. Now, this doesn't have to be gender. This could be like, it could be like you're dealing with a woman, but it's more likely that you're dealing with a water or earth sign, right? Because those are the feminine elements, and fire is a masculine element along with air. I'm feeling a little distracted all of a sudden. I feel like I'm still thinking about the other video. It really was just me shuffling, and it was like 6 minutes of me shuffling, so I feel like you're better off with this one. But I guess if you want to see it, I didn't delete it yet, so let me know. Both really good cards, okay? If you are seeing one of those signs, all right, then the water sign, pleasure, so thinking fun, thinking maybe even fulfillment, at least on a surface level. But then the Eight of Discs is prudence, so it's going to be more about staying true to yourself and being who you are and allowing things to bloom and go on their natural course, okay? So you can apply them separate. You can take them both. These could be you right now. You might be really kind of enjoying yourself and doing what you want, right? Not just like going along with it. You're truly enjoying yourself and staying true to yourself in the process, okay? Despite the fact that that looks good, bottom of the deck is 10 of Discs. Well, so that also looks good. Money looks good, right? It's almost like you're making money doing what you love too. But it's not looking great below, right? It's not looking that excellent, but it's also looking pretty good. But it's, as I was saying before, you just seem to have a lot going on. All right, like a lot going on. I'm getting this inclination it might be more businessy than anything, but at the same time could be dealing with a partner. Again, cups or discs. If you are seeing a fire or air sign, I think it's a pretty stable situation, and that's why it's not really coming up. But it's interesting that usually this is only one card and just two happen to fall out. Well, no, one fell out, and then I just was like, I'm gonna put this one here instead, but I'll keep this one. You know, it's just a choice, but it was a feeling. So for some reason there's two. I'm really feeling like maybe you even have to make a choice between water and earth. Either way, maybe even a partner and yourself, okay? Because the prudence would be the self and the pleasure would be the partner. Yeah, if you're with a air or fire sign, I see things going pretty well right now and not to sweat the relationship. Otherwise, one of them or just kind of like business. Okay, so I do see a lot of air in the reading. But we really about the, okay, that's why I'm like, I'm pretty sure the air signs are doing good with the Sagittarius right now. Prince of Cups. Okay, so we could even say, hey, maybe this is a water sign, and maybe this is a water sign who's not really ready fill your cup. Could be water sign sun for some of you if you're a parent. Could also be you trying to be a little more open-minded. Okay. I think Sagittarius is like to think of themselves as open-minded, but maybe also a little closed off at the same time. Kind of a traditionalist in a sense. Very new, fresh, organic, spontaneous, but somehow stuck in their ways at the same time, right? So this could be you trying to open your mind, right? Or it is someone who is not ready. Okay. We have the Tower. Now, the Tower often does come up as just the typical pandemic card. This might just be the COVID card for you. If there's really nothing extreme or tragic going on in your life, it might just be that you were affected by the general things that are going on. So if you pair them together, this situation that you went through or are going through, you know, it could have been a personal Tower moment. Things are falling apart and you see them for what they are. Or maybe you're feeling like you should be taking responsibility. Shit like that. That might be what triggers moving up in your mind, right? But it might just be COVID and you started to rethink things. Okay, reevaluate. 8 of Cups, indolence, laziness. Pandemic may have got you on your ass a bit. Mentally lazy too. Maybe you're just like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. You know, you're just pushing shit out. It's a very interesting run here with the Prince of Cups, the Tower, and the 8 of Cups because the Tower is a very strong card, but none of them are too great. And the 8 and the Prince are not very strong cups either. So it could be that the pandemic really has you in a funny place and you're really not operating at your full level, okay? But at the same time, you might be avoiding something that did happen to you personally, and you have to stop blaming the pandemic even and face some shit. Then we have the Star. Okay, so the Star is Aquarius. Again, seeing some positive air energy here if you are dealing with an air sign. However, Aquarius season starts in a couple days. So in the next couple days, you might be over the lazy phase. You might be ready to take a step forward. Something might come as a surprise to you. Maybe surprise and inspiration. Maybe it's getting back to yourself, focusing on yourself again. Okay? Either way, it's good. Could be an air sign too. Could be an Aquarius if you're dealing with an Aquarius. I think I'm going to snake and then do this after because this is a lot of air too. So I think this is going to be... this is the situation with the water sign, if there is a water sign. This is going to be the situation with potentially an earth sign. If you're with an earth sign, this is potentially the air sign. In these situations or relationships or partnerships can apply to anything. It never has to be romantic. Okay? Because again, I'm getting business vibes with that 10 of discs at the bottom of the deck. Right? If you're not dealing with any of them, or you're just someone who doesn't really pay attention to astrology like that, forget it. It could all apply to you, and it might all be your inner work that you're doing. Okay, so it's hard to say this early on, but again, either you're dealing with a Prince of Cups, or you are the Prince of Cups, and you're just gonna have to keep deciphering which is which as we continue into it. Okay, so next row, Prince of Wands. You get awful lot of princes. If you are dealing with another fire sign, also not ready. The air sign's coming in strong. The earth sign's coming in strong. The water and the fire, not so much. Not so much. Prince of Wands, kind of immature, kind of reckless, kind of like doesn't know where he's going, doesn't care, charging forward anyways. But also, in this instance, I'm slightly wondering if, hey, maybe they're taking the first step, like with the Prince of Cups is taking the first step, okay? Rare, but this is a fire sign reading, so I'll give it to you. He might be trying. He might be getting his shit together. Doesn't have to be the fire sign. Again, could be you. But what I'm seeing here, Knight of Discs. So again, that earth sign coming in. Yeah. If you're a man, might be you. If you're dealing with a man, might be them. Because even though earth is a feminine sign, it's coming across as a knight. Could be you because you're the masculine. And this could be, once more, about your money. And, ooh. some shit going on for you, right? This is the underworld, and I'm just like, hello, bring. Knight of Discs looking good though. Okay, we like that. Not so much the Prince of Wands, but yeah, the Knight of Discs. And maybe the emotional connection or your emotional interior is being affected by the fact that you're working and that you're trying to make money and be stable and self-sufficient, you know, where you're lacking in other areas because you're trying to prosper in the physical. We'll see how it goes. I have these two face down side cards, but Two discs change. Oh shit. Laptop's dying. Okay, sorry, I had to plug in. Two discs change. So it's about to be a time. I don't necessarily want to think or assume that this is going to be a change in your money per se, because even though the change is next to the Knight of Discs and one would quickly assume discs and discs being changed and everything, yeah, you would think that element is changing. However, at the bottom of the deck, we can refer back to the 10 of discs. So I really, especially the 8 of discs up here too, I don't see anything going wrong with your money necessarily. I think you can actually allot yourself more free time than you are. Okay, I think there's ways that you could be maximizing your time, possibly working less. I guess. I think the change is going to be you prioritizing your job or whoever over yourself and how you're feeling. That's going to be the change. Then we have the Hanged Man. Okay, so loyal, dedicated, maybe even a little martyrism though. And martyrs were like really into Jesus or whatever, and God liked that, I guess. But at the same time, you don't really want to be killing yourself for the cause of anything or anyone, especially anyone, because they would not do the same for you. You got to focus on you, and sometimes it is great to be this loyal, but this loyalty needs to be with yourself over anyone else. What are these? Let's just look at them. They're going the same way. This is the Magician because it's discolored. I don't know what this is. They're going the same way on the side. You can either lose out, not get that, or you can revel in it. And it is the Magician and the 5 of Swords, defeat. Okay, so the Magician is the manifesting. He has the vision. He is the one who's gonna decide for himself, right? And the 5 of Swords being defeat, really, you know, maybe not fighting anymore, not putting in the effort the same way, and accepting that not everything has to be a fight. Okay, just giving in a little bit, right? But you have to decide if you're going to do that, take control and understand that anything is possible, or if you're just going to go along with whatever the hell is going along here. Then we have 4 of Cups, 2 of Swords, luxury and peace, going back to the water. It's a balance. 2 and 4. Peace and luxury. Good place, you know. Feeling like nothing's really getting in your way. Real low conflict. Not really fighting with anyone in particular. 4 Cups luxury. Hey, you're more than comfortable. And in your mind, you are rich in life, okay? Like, that it's beyond abundance. You're like, wow, I have more than I even needed. Like, this is amazing. Even if you're not rich, even if you don't live that comfortable, even, you know, whatever, it's in your mind, you are so wealthy, which is how and why you've attracted the 10 of Discs for yourself. What's on the bottom though? The Lovers. They might really complete you. Again, the air sign's looking good in this reading. Gemini, shout out if you are dealing with a Gemini. Doesn't necessarily have to be lovers. It can be a decision. You know, on one hand, you would have peace, but on the other hand, you'd have luxury. So let's think, if you are speaking in finances, if you worked less, you would be less stressed. But at the same time, you'd be able to afford more. If you're talking about a relationship, it's like, hey, real minimal conflict and living more comfortably. Okay, then shoot. I mean, it sounds pretty good either way. Like, no matter what happens, you're getting something. You're going to gain something. So there is no wrong decision. And if you're dealing with a Gemini, it's looking good there too. Wheel of Fortune. So things will turn in your favor. That's the thing. Even if this Two of Discs was a change in your finances, it's going to turn back around. Hence leaving you with the 8, or beginning with the 8 and the 10. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune. Things are looking okay with this little, whatever this was, with the Two of Discs and the Hanged Man. Things are going to come back around. We have the 8 of Wands, swiftness. Okay, so acting out maybe a little bit, thinking less, feeling more, kind of moving in a bunch of different directions. Not terrible. Sometimes you got to go with your gut, you know? It just depends. And you being a fire sign on top of the wands, it's like maybe a little more on the spontaneity kind of extremist side with the swiftness. And then there's something face down, and then there's the Princess of Cups, okay? So somehow this whole process, all this change, you really didn't develop much since the beginning. You went from the Prince of Cups to the Princess of Cups. If you're dealing with a water sign, even after you go through all this, they still won't be ready. Okay? But if this is you, you still have not really changed your mind yet. Your mind's not fully made up. The Lovers might be a decision, but you didn't actually make that decision. You didn't have single goddamn cup down here? No, 4 cups, luxury. Okay, so you know things are good. But at the same time, maybe still a little stubborn here. A little bit closed off. I mean, opening up, but come on. We want to see the Prince of Cups go to the Knight of Cups. Not the princess, you know? And I guess no leaps, but at the same time, don't know, man. Just a thought. Something in between them. What is it? The Moon, Pisces. Back to water. Could be dealing with a Pisces, but it's really like you might go through some dark times, and what's your outcome with it? What do you want to get out of it? Going back to this manifestation card of the Magician being on its side. What'd you decide? Well, you decided to act on how you were feeling in the moment, which was bad because that's the moon, right? The darkness. You reacted, and bam, you got nowhere, basically. You didn't get anywhere because you didn't figure out how you were feeling. You stayed in the Prince of Wands energy all throughout here. Not a single wand, and then bam, all the feelings at once, and you go with the angry react, basically. And now bam, you haven't changed. So, just saying, just seeing that. Wow, yeah, those are the only 2 wands. That's not very good for a fire sign to only see those 2 wands. That was long. And I'm not even done. There's like a whole mess of cards here. So we have the Magus. Very similar to the Magician. They're both number 1. Most don't have both in a deck, but this one does, right? So it was tipped like this, where like you're starting to move in the right direction. You're starting to figure out what you want. You're starting to make moves, but not quite there yet. I don't always honor the tilted cards, but it seemed like since they both came out, it was very significant to recognize that you are tipping it upward. You know, the path you're on right now is a good one. The decisions they're making currently are fine. There was just maybe it was a hiccup or going to be a hiccup, right? Where it made a bigger difference than you think it did. Okay, so you are going in the right direction here. Up top here, we have Libra, adjustment. So again, if you're dealing with an air sign, power with the Libra and the Gemini and the Aquarius cards coming out. But paired with the Libra, 7 of Swords, futility. Okay, so maybe some pointless conflict. That's the other thing too, if we're not talking about an air sign, because this is double air. So if you are fighting with a Libra or arguing with a Libra, it's maybe just like wasted efforts. Okay, I don't know if it's like you two need to come to a resolution and stop fighting, or if it's like never gonna get resolved, you need to walk away. But either way, this, if you're carrying on with the fucking Libra, there is no point to it. You need to stop. Gotta stop. If it's you, you have to accept that you are in this mindset. Not necessarily a young or an immature mindset, but just a not fully open yet kind of thing. A little still closed off mentally. And you're just going to have to get used to the fact that that causes conflict. And you're like, what are we even fighting about? I hate this. Why is there so much tension? Blah, blah, blah. It's coming from you, and other people are having a hard time getting in and out of your thought process when you're barely saying anything, kind of thing. You're not speaking your mind, or you're not letting things stay on your mind. It's almost like you're trying to work them away. And it's like, hello, for something, you know? It's like, I mean, I don't know. Me and my Sagittarius is, we good. We casual. You know, I'm not involved with Sagittarius, but y'all are coming across pretty fine to me. So I'm thinking this might be, if it's a business partnership, going to be very important for you to kind of speak your mind and really be able to take on stress and think about things. If you're in a relationship or trying to be in a relationship, then you need to recognize that you're not fully open. If it's a water sign, maybe recognize they're not fully open. But understand that your fucking actions are consequential of this attitude. Okay? This mindset of like, maybe a little glass, probably half full. Prince of Cups is like, yeah, I got a glass. And the Princess of Cups is like, my glass is half full. Queen of Cups is like, I'll fill you up, baby. Okay? So we have the Knight of Swords. It's interesting because they're like this. Knight of Swords on top. And then it's like paired with this card. But sandwiched in between these cards is these two cards. So these are two separate things, but I see them being intertwined. Okay? So Knight of Swords, going back to the air sign dynamic, if you are dealing with an air sign, also tapping into your masculine, also recognizing that we have princes showing up here, if that's you. So financially, you're doing great. You're in that Knight energy / the earth sign is solid. Your Knight energy also lies in swords, which, sure, going right along with the hard work and the ethic. However, also noting the aggressor, calling you out for maybe starting it, okay? If there is no earth sign or air sign to be blamed. But I'm just saying, you might be standing in your own way here because you're focused on the wrong stuff. You need to be focused on how you're feeling and how you are mentally and what you're thinking and how your attitude is. And yet you're like, well, my money and I almost said rights, my power, my personal wellness, not inside, but on the outside, right? Self-care. It's like your priorities are a little askew because you are way more solid in two of those factors than the other. So you have to stop focusing on the things that are going well and that you have down. You got to let them continue and start the next process. But then, okay, so the Knight of Swords and then interference would happen next. What's the interference? What's this Eight of Swords keeping with the air energy interference? The Queen of Cups. So this motherfucker comes back around and it's like, I'm ready now. You're in the zone, once again, working your ass off. Something comes along, interrupts you. Yeah, could be a mother. Queen of Cups could be a mother, especially if this was a son for you. But if this was another person, if this was the water sign, I would say that, yeah, I see them coming around, but it's going to take a while or it's going to take a long time. It's going to catch you off guard. You're not going to care anymore. You give up this pointless conflict and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, here I am. Could be you where you're in the zone, you're on your grind, you might be kind of fighting all the time, and then all of a sudden something drastic, it's got to be pretty drastic, gives you that full cup mentality somehow in some action. Okay. Ten of Wands, oppression. So here's the thing. Very odd, very strange. It really depends on your narrative through this reading, okay? But whoever the Knight of Swords is, again, really focused. And then whoever the Queen of Cups is, coming in kind of hot, coming in as a surprise, possibly with a problem, but really with the right mind, okay? Which just leads to the Ten of Wands oppression for the Knight of Swords. So you really have to decide who's who, or if they're both you, right? Where it's like you have this emotional breakthrough, but then you're like, oh shit, I hate working now or something, right? So kind of a tricky little situation there. You gotta be careful. Whew, that's it. We're done with those. Moving the hell on. 25. All right. That's a lot to take in. And it honestly, I feel like it sounded really confusing because there was just like, again, so much going on. And I felt that, you see how I just got rid of those cards. 10 of discs at the bottom of the deck. You're good at the end of it. All right. Azazel. Beware of looking for someone to blame in situations in which no one person is responsible. Focus on fairness and offering equal praise for success as blame for mistakes. Part of the work thing too, where you're like the Knight of Discs. So your opinion is valued because you've proven yourself worthy. However, you don't need to be Knight of Swords all the time where you're picking fights or talking shit or coming in a little too harsh. Okay? You need to make sure you're not just constantly criticizing people without giving them thanks. Okay? And I feel like Sagittarius truly are very loving, and I think most of them are very open and not shy about showing love for the people in their lives, their friends, their family, whatever. However, when it comes to work, you might really be showing that masculinity and that fire more than the rest of us see. Okay. Just a thought. Can't even think of any Sagittariuses that I've worked with off the top of my head, really. But, yeah, beware of looking for someone to blame in situations in which no one person is responsible. Focus on fairness and offering equal praise for success as blame for mistakes. Might help clear a lot of this up. Might help you get to that Queen of Cups a lot sooner if you can recognize, like, yeah, your glass is half full instead of being like, cup, yeah, I get it. Okay, but how much are you putting in the cup? Damn, how much are you putting in the cup? Kind of thing, you know? Whew. It's water. Chill out. Righto. Oh, that's so long. I feel like I'm really just going to read these and maybe not shuffle, but I'll do one good shuffle at the end. So, the underworld, the sacredness of pausing. No, that's winter. Where all things pause and begin again. The underworld. So, I channeled more of a god or a deity in the Scorpio reading. I don't want to reveal who it is. If you really want to know, you'll go watch it. But the underworld came up to give me confirmation of that, and I'm feeling like maybe he's either coming in now or you need to go see that message. Either way, the underworld being here, okay, where all things pause and begin again. Well, you need to pause, reevaluate, and start over here. Okay, you really need to, like, it's not like you need to get it together, but at the same time you need to get it together a little bit. Sorry. Sometimes I think when I sneeze, it means you really got to think about what I just said. Okay? And I already don't remember. I sneezed it out of my brain. But you do, and you can rewind the tapes. So, all things pause and begin again. Could also be a connection to the underworld, which is why I'm encouraging you to go watch the Scorpio. Just skip ahead. There's no timestamps, but you'll figure it out. We have dawn, the light after the darkness. That's the thing about Sag season. It leads us into the end of the year. And I think that's why, I don't know. I feel like some signs do really well when it's their season. Libra really stands out for me. I feel like when it's Libra season, Libras are on fire, okay? They are like blowing up, if you will. And they love it. They're in their element. But I think when it's like Sagittarius and Sagittarius season, it can be a little difficult. It's almost like all your challenges and it's maybe your accomplishments, but it's like you really kind of get into this mindset of like, all right, like how did this year go? Like, let's do an assessment. What are we trying to call it? It's like a lot of work, I think. And I think part of the reason it ties really well with the underworld, and the reason I'm bringing it up, is because that time from Scorpio to Sagittarius season can be very dark. It's some of the darkest days of the year. It's the coldest. Well, I don't know. It depends on where you live, but it's very dead, okay? I don't know how else to say it. It starts like October 1st and it runs all through November. And December starts to lighten up because we have Christmas and it's Yule, I guess. I don't know. I think with the new year, it really lifts up. But yeah, it kind of starts at Christmas. But yeah, Sagittarius season is a pretty dark time. I don't know. People don't really talk about that. But it is. It's a dark time. Just in general, and spirit and energy. It's when Persephone's in the underworld, you know? And I think you have to recognize that in yourself for a reason. You gotta maybe tap in, or at least recognize it so that you can start working with some of these other elements. Okay, darkest before the dawn. No, light after the darkness. I always say that. It's dawn the card, and it's the light after the darkness. So once you go through this, perhaps dark night of the soul, you'll get to the gold. You'll get to your shining moment. You'll finally, all of this stuff will make sense. It won't be so underdeveloped anymore. Okay, it's only like that because you're still in this dark kind of underworld-esque situation, but there is light after the darkness. Zombie control. You might be relinquishing a lot of your control to someone else. You might be doing a little too much I was going to say subliminal messaging, but I mean being submitted to it, like watching too much TV, being on the phone too much, scrolling too much, whatever. You gotta plug in. It's hard for some people to like go connect with nature because it can be really cold outside, but just make sure you're doing that. Opening windows, again, even if it's really cold, just get some fresh air and make sure that nothing's rotting your brain here. Could also be a little bit like addiction too, where it's like, don't let a substance control you. Okay, so lots to think about there. And then invisibility, authenticity. So who are you? This is crazy. Who are you behind closed doors? I think this is almost exactly the same as Scorpio. And please understand, I shuffle the cards before the reading, and then I shuffle them during the reading, and then I shuffle them after the reading, and then for the next one, I shuffle them before I start it, shuffle it during it, and then shuffle afterwards. Okay? And this is my first reading of the day. It's uncanny. I'm pretty sure this is the exact same fucking cards. I don't remember positive, but please go check out the Scorpio video. You don't, again, skip forward to the Halloween Oracle because I think that's the really important part, but like, god damn, that's crazy. Super crazy. But invisibility, authenticity. Who are you when the clothes come off? Who are you without the fashion? Who are you without the space, the job, the title, you know? Who are you? And again, that's what's been coming through. This Prince and Princess of Cups, Prince of Wands, like, yeah, keep the clothes on, right? Keep all the discs and the swords up, okay? Because that's how you feel the best. But this still needs to be worked on, okay? And then we have winter, the sacredness of pausing. So again, underworld, Persephone, winter, all of it, a culmination. Sagittarius season being winter right now. Very all lining up pretty well, where this is the time to stop and reflect. This is the time to get better habits. This is the time to address this shit. Okay? Because once summer, oh my god, you're going to be feeling better and you're going to forget it was even an issue, is what's really going to happen. So sacredness of pausing. It's okay to stop and think. It's okay to recalculate, rebrand, whatever you got to do. But also let people help you. Let people help you. And then big reveal. Jack-o'-lantern, protection. Get guarded. I don't think that this protection necessarily means go buy a gun or anything, but whatever you gotta do, I guess. I think there's greater force that's protecting you. I think even leaving a light on can call the right spirits. Okay, I don't know what light or anything, but yeah. Technically a jack-o'-lantern is a lamp, right? Remembrance, lighting candles and calling to your angels and such, your guardians, to bless you and keep you protected, okay? Because you keep them very busy, not gonna lie. Said I wasn't gonna shuffle these. It's already 35 minutes, but fuck it. No, I think that's good. I feel like that was solid. That's all you really need to know. Yeah, go watch the Scorpio video. I just keep hearing that because I think it's the same person that I'm channeling, but it's like the message was a lot more thorough for the Scorpio. So go. Anyway, I will see you next time. Illuminaughty Mystex. Bye-bye. Until the next time.